Hey guys, techmadeezy, and thank you so much for clicking on our video today. Well, short video, but after 14 months of having the Fold 3, I wanted to share with you some things I like and some things I'd like to see improved. I'll also talk a little bit about why I didn't decide on getting the Fold 4, So, short video, but I hope it's helpful to you. Why don't we go ahead and get started? So I've had the phone now for 14 months. And let me tell you, this thing is addicting. Once you get a phone that you can open up like that whenever you want and have a large screen, it isn't just a gimmick. And having this for 14 months, when I go back to my iPhone on the weekends, it's just so weird, Now, I will tell you, 5 months into having this phone, I was scared. I'm not going to kid you. I posted a video about that. Let me just go ahead and show you what happened with the screen. And I thought it was the screen. I didn't know it was a screen protector. So let's take a look at that for a minute. Well, there it goes, guys. After 5 months of using this every day, no water, no drops, no condensation, opening and closing using this wonderfully large screen, well, guess what? All right, that's what the screen is on looks like. I figured let me put up a notepad. And again, I can see this, and I hope you can too, I think after recording. But, the one bubble, the second bubble, but I see the band there right where the crack is, this little seam. So, was that shocking or what? Really, when I saw the screen and I saw the bubbles, I didn't know that there was a built-in screen protector by Samsung. And it's a really thick screen protector, by the way. So I'll give you some guidance towards the end of the video if you're going to get one of these, but definitely scared me like crazy. Now, I did recently take a look at the Fold 4. I looked at the specs and everything and decided, look, a year later, to me, other than the camera getting upgraded, the battery performance getting upgraded, it just wasn't enough for me to invest another $1,000 out of my pocket after trade-in. So let's take a moment and let's go over what I'd like to see improved. So the first thing I'd like to see improved in newer models is the battery life. Now, it's a sacrifice. I've got the S22 Ultra, and I use that from time to time also. And that battery will last me all day long and still have a drop towards the end. And let me tell you, I'm working like 12-hour days, from when I get up in the morning until I'm turning that darn thing off. And this phone here, probably 5 hours in needs to get plugged in. Otherwise, it's probably going to die at some point. So, we don't want to have a phone at 20% and we still have hours to go in our day. So for the price point, I definitely believe this should have the best battery, especially because it's got the biggest screen. So that's my opinion. Now, the Fold 4 finally has a slightly better camera now. So I'm glad they improved that because that was one of the other things too. Again, the S22 Ultra camera is phenomenal. And why shouldn't this be phenomenal? Again, for the price point, you should be getting all of it. But they know this screen is going to make you want to buy this phone. Now, the camera in this is not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's really not a bad camera. But when you're using an S22 Ultra camera, it's night and day. Now, let me go over my last thing. So I'd love to see in a future model a slightly wider outside display. Now, when I'm using this and I'm texting or I'm writing an email, sometimes I'm always opening it up practically, right? But I would love to see just a slightly wider screen because it'll make this a little bit more usable. Just a drop. That's really it. Now let's go over some things I like. Have I said I love the large screen enough? I mean, that is, to anyone, the number one reason why anyone likes this phone. And so me, it's addicting. It really is. After 14 months, you know, and the other thing obviously is everyone wants to see this. So when you open it up and you're using it, all of a sudden, hey, what phone is that? Let me check it out. I mean, that's good and that's bad, especially in some of the areas I work at. Now, processing power, phenomenal. I'll put some specs up here on the left-hand corner, but this thing is a beast. I've not had any issue, you know, and I multitask and I run multiple things and no issues at all. So really good specs there. Memory, same thing, right? And storage, right? Look at, this is the memory and the storage. I got the 512 gigabyte and have no issues whatsoever. Love it. Now, let me show you how you can run multiple apps on this thing, which is cool. So let me bring that up for a moment. And again, because you've got this larger screen, let's take a look at that for a moment and see. So with a large screen like this, you can text on the top, you can have YouTube running on the bottom, which is nice. And if you want to open up another app, just swipe to the side here, and you want to open up maybe your web browser, you can dump it in there. And now I've got 3 apps running at the same time. I mean, obviously, I normally just do YouTube and maybe text messaging, but really nice to know with all that real estate. Pretty cool. Now, here's another reason. I mean, watching videos on this thing is awesome. And I love that you can pinch to zoom, by the way, so you could fill the whole screen in, which is nice. This is one of our videos we did on the Blue Eddy EB3A power station. But that is awesome. There's another reason, too. I mean, many of the Samsung phones have wireless power share. And I can actually charge my watch. So if I'm running low on battery, I just turn on wireless power share, put this on the back of the Fold 3 and charge my battery. So I love that. So let's just go over some things to know. Out of the box, your screens on the outside and inside will not match, just so you know. Okay, there is a setting you can go to, I'll bring it up in a second and show you, where you can actually have your screens mirroring each other. It's called screen mirroring, and it's different from what you're thinking. Let me show you. So if you go into the home screen settings, in settings, you can see here, cover screen mirroring. And if you just go in here and you turn it on, it'll basically make your front screen mirror your interior screen. So your app layout, stuff like that, all right? That's kind of cool. It's just good to know. Now, if you're coming from Apple and you get your hand on something like this, the first time you go like this, you're probably never going back to Apple. Now, I'm not going to say never, never, but for the year or 2 years you use this phone, you are going to be so excited by the innovation of Samsung. And don't get me wrong, Android is still not as consistent as the Apple iOS. And that's the reason why I have an iPhone. But just something to think about. Now, as far as the S Pen, there is a Fold Edition S Pen. So just be aware you can't use any S Pen. But I'll be honest with you, I haven't really found a case that I could keep with me to use the S Pen. Now, let me tell you why. I do a lot of driving. And my phone is obviously going to be in my mount like this. And so because it's that way, most of the cases that have S Pens holders are going to be here or they're going to be back here. And when you drive a lot, that just doesn't work. All right. If I didn't drive a lot, it wouldn't matter. My phone would be in my pocket most of the time. But when I drive, I'd have to take my case off every single time. And so I have the S Pen. I like it, but I don't get to keep it with me for that reason. So if you're going to get a Fold 3 or a Fold 4, a couple of recommendations. Number one, don't take off your front screen protector. I've had mine on for 14 months, and it's starting to come up in the corner over here, but it's been on for the whole time. And I'm going to tell you, I've got some cases that are starting to rub up against it, and I'm glad it's not rubbing up against the screen. It's only rubbing up against the screen protector. Now, let's talk a little bit about that interior screen protector. Don't mess with this. Don't put on another screen protector. You don't need it. Samsung has a pre-installed screen protector on this. It's very thick. I know. After 5 months, I've had some issues with it. I had the bubbling going on. It cost me $100, right, to get my phone, have them put it back on. But you know what? It's worth it. Keep it on, really. And you know what? Get a case. Anyway, listen, I hope this video helped you in some way. If it did, give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. By the way, if you're new to our channel, take a moment and subscribe. We'd love to have you in the family, and I'd love to also have you see Brooklyn as well. She's my awesome lab. I will put my social media up here if you want to follow us and ask questions. We're still a small channel. I interact with most of the subscribers. I'd love to do that. Also share our video if you have a moment, okay? Thanks so much for watching our video. I appreciate your time. Hey guys, take a moment and give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. As you can see, Brooklyn, she's waving her tail for you. Take a moment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell and you'll get notified of new videos we come out with. Also, follow us and contact us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.